I am Mayor Skip Henderson, and I want to welcome you and I want to thank you for joining us today as we share some news that we think is not only exciting for our community, but it's critically needed as well. This COVID-19 pandemic, it is a medical emergency, but it has generated emotional instability. It's generated mental illness, and it has caused financial disasters. And there are a lot of small businesses that are struggling, wanting to know how they're going to continue and be able to continue to serve people once we finally make it through this viral attack on our country. There are also individuals who are wondering how they're going to pay their light bill and wondering how they're going to hang on to their houses. So the CARES Act funding that we're here to talk to you today about, we have lobbied. I know the city manager has been in constant contact through his associations. The city attorney has likewise, and I have actually been able to speak with the governor's office a couple of times, as well as the Georgia Municipal Association and the Association of the County Commissioners of Georgia have all been working very hard to try to gain access for local governments to some of the funding that was made available through the CARES Act. So we're excited to announce that we were successful in having access to some of those funds that will help to reimburse some of the costs directly related to COVID-19, but that were not eligible for any other reimbursements for whatever reason. And it's going to be a monumental effort. I have to give credit to the staff at the Consolidated Government and all that they've done to try to pull this together. The good news is that the money is going to be available. The less than good news is that it is a very short window for the first disbursement. And we have, thanks to our staff working so hard, they have taken steps that I think have been absolutely spot on in helping us to continue to be able to maximize the impact of this funding throughout our community. So to kind of give you a few more details about that, I'm going to ask our city manager, Isaiah Hughley, to come forward, and he'll brief you on some of that information, and then he'll introduce you to our partner in this endeavor. City manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good morning to each of you and to those watching by television. I want to say to you simply that COVID-19, it's real. We should take it seriously. It has devastated our nation, our state, and our city. I do want to thank the mayor and commend the mayor for his leadership, and say thank you to our city council, to our department heads, and department heads would be those not only in public safety but general government. We have a lot of city government employees who we consider first-line workers who are not in public safety. Those would be departments like Metro Transit and many others. But thank you to the deputy city managers, our department heads, and all of the Columbus Consolidated Government employees as we have worked to try and make what's difficult look easy by continuing to provide the citizens of Columbus with the services that they expect and depend on. So thank you to our city leadership and to the city team. The state of Georgia notified the city of Columbus in recent weeks to inform us that we are eligible for up to $34 million in CARES Act funds. That funding will come to us in phases throughout the fall of this year. We have assured the mayor and council that we intend to go after every single dollar that we're eligible to receive in the allocation of CARES Act funding, which will help so many in our community with reimbursed expenses incurred because of COVID-19. When notified about potential CARES Act funding, I want you to know that we moved immediately to create a collaborative public-private partnership to reach out to eligible businesses, agencies, and organizations in the Columbus, Georgia community to offer assistance with COVID-19 expenses. We realize that we must work together in this difficult time, public-private partnership. And we are all in this together. The city government, private businesses, agencies, and organizations. And we must work together to get this through this in a Columbus, Georgia kind of way. Our team that's working on this program has done a remarkable job in creating a brand new program, the likes of which we've not seen before in our city, our state, in terms of federal financing. And they did it in just over a month's time, always focusing on how we can best assist and support our local businesses, organizations, and agencies which help our city. Our internal team consists of both Deputy City Managers, Deputy City Manager Lisa Goodwin, who has been leading this team, and Deputy City Manager Pam Hodge, along with our Finance Director, Angelica Alexander. And I want you to know that they have been working with Marquette McKnight with media, marketing, and more as a project manager of the program. When we realized that we were going to receive these dollars, and we realized that the time frame would be very short, we moved immediately to try and bring in some expert outside of the government assistance in the public-private partnership. And so we called on Marquette McKnight with media, marketing, and more. And so at this time, I'm going to ask Marquette to come forward and tell you more about the program. Thank you, Marquette, for stepping up with media, marketing, and more to assist us in this effort.
Thank you, Isaiah. Good morning. We are delighted to be working with the city on this project, and it's been a huge reminder of what we already knew, and that is the folks who work for your city government, elected or appointed, are dedicated officials who are leading this city in all sorts of ways. I was teasing Isaiah earlier today and saying that the trio, or the triumvirate as I call them, Angelica Alexander, Lisa Goodwin, and Pam Hodge, have just been so impressive in working for the citizens of our community, and we are delighted to be partners with them in this. I'd also like to take a moment to introduce the team that we have assembled for this particular project, which includes Andy Luker, Lisa DeRoche, and Karen Cook, along with our finance team, which includes William Taylor, Christopher Smith, Lynn Williams, Susan McGuire, Larry Carden, and Amy Moore. And they are part of our finance review team that will be reviewing the applications later, and we've depended on them a lot to help us as well. I want to tell you a little bit about how the CARES program, Columbus CARES, will work in Columbus. As Isaiah and Mayor Skip Henderson noted, this is federal funds through the state to the city, and it's for COVID-19 related expenses that are not reimbursed by any other source, meaning you've got to have already spent the money, and it's got to be not reimbursed by another source. It can't be covered by insurance. It can't be covered by other federal dollars, other CARES program. It can't be covered by a donor that made you the money or made the donation to you to cover that specific program. Those monies will then flow to the city once we get all of our applications in, and then hopefully we'll be able to disperse that money throughout the fall as quickly as we can. Who qualifies for this CARES money? local businesses, small businesses with 100 employees or less, community assistance groups, including churches who are doing outreach projects in the community, nonprofits who are one of the lifebloods of our city in helping people through this pandemic and all the things that they do, arts agencies, cultural arts agencies, which have suffered immensely because they've been, in effect, shut down by COVID, and medical and healthcare organizations, everything from hospitals to small practices of medical professionals. And that includes everybody in the medical healthcare field, from doctors and physicians to mental health therapists to rehab specialists, et cetera. Again, all these are COVID-related, unreimbursed expenses. The expenses that qualify were designed through some federal guidelines, very few state guidelines, but to maximize the reimbursable expenses and include things like personal protective gear, whatever that PPE that you have purchased for employees or for your clients or for your members or your patients, things like masks, things like plexiglass dividers, things like foot coverings, any kind of shielding that you do for especially in the medical field, the shields that they have to wear. So anything that is PPE oriented. Renovation, retrofit, reconstruction, rehab to accommodate social distancing and safety. And that includes things like if you, for example, if you are a medical clinic and you created a separate entrance, you had to construct a separate entrance or a separate office for COVID patients, then that is an unreimbursed COVID-related expenses that would be covered under this CARES Act. Anything that's related to COVID medical testing, contact tracing, mobile testing, any of those expenses are included. Technology, and this is one of the things that would be especially valuable for small businesses, and that would be technology expenses that were, again, COVID-related, that you had to do because of COVID, but that would include things like if you had to give employees laptops to take home, if you had to provide VPN virtual networks for people, if you had to provide hotspots for people, firewalls for people to work from home, that's a COVID-related unreimbursed expense. And you can do those. We've gotten several queries over the weekend of other technology things that we will be including. And then one of the biggest categories is what we refer to as community assistance, which can include anything from food assistance to transportation, funeral expenses, legal services, health services, utility assistance, meal delivery, case management. There's a wide variety of things that are covered under that community assistance. So most of the nonprofits who work with homeless populations and demographically our lower to moderate income residents, their expenses, if they're not covered by any other source, would be included in this. The applications are open today. The website is open. Andy, is it open now? The website is open now, and that's the way you apply. That's the only way that you can apply for this, and the website is columbusga.gov/Columbus Cares. You can actually go onto the city website, and it's got a piece there that will take you to this landing page, so to speak. On that website is the application, a large overview, and a lot of FAQs where we're trying to answer every possible question that we might have. The application's open today, August 10th, and the application deadline is 5 p.m. Monday, August 24th. That's a tight turnaround, but then that gives our finance people a couple of weeks to review those applications and verify all that documentation that you will have to provide with an application. For questions about the program, the email response will get you the quickest response, and that is columbuscares@columbusga.gov. And again, all that can be found on the website. It's been a challenging and fascinating project to work with. with a quick turnaround, but we are determined with the guidance of the city to make sure that Columbus gets every share, every bit of dollars that we can for the residents and the citizens who live and work in our community, and we want to be of assistance to our community. We're honored to be on the team with the city, and we'll work with them to ensure that we're maximizing every effort to make sure that our citizens are taken care of in the way that we know we want to take care of them. So that's about it. I'll be glad to answer any questions with the mayor and city manager if you have any. None whatsoever. Okay, great. Thank you very much.